Hello Python pals! So we're going to be working with servos today. These are little motors that can make a rotation in a 180-degree arc. And when coding servos in CircuitPython, you just specify the angle and it will rotate to that spot.
Now, there are lots of different kinds of motors. What I'm working with right now is a
sub-micro server motor. In other projects I've used microservers, which you can see are just a little bit bigger than the sub-micro ones.
You want to make sure that you're using a standard servo and not a continuous rotation servo, because those use different code and they behave differently. Also, I'm not working with a DC motor,
which is the kind of motor you might use to power a wheeled robot.
Now, when you set up a servo, you'll notice that most of them that you buy have these 3 female connectors in here. And the way that we had 3 wires when we hooked up our lighting project, we had ground, power, and signal. That's what you have here for this brown wire, which is ground, the power, which is red, and the signal, which is orange. And what I'm going to be doing is connecting ground to GND. I'm going to connect the power to Vout and the signal to A1.
In this example, I cut off the connector on the wire, strip the ends of the wire, and then just attach the wires with M3 screws.
But also, if you didn't want to cut your wires for one reason or another, you can just go ahead and attach 3 alligator clips here. And then what I've done in this situation, you can see black ground, white to A1, red to Vout. I've taken the other ends and I've clipped these to 3 different wires that have male pin ends to them. So that's what we've got here, not to confuse this. And I can take and put ground into ground and power into power. You want to make sure that you're definitely having the correct wires go to the correct location, otherwise your project isn't going to work properly. And this is my signal going to signal. Now you'll also notice that you have this little circle here, and this is what rotates on the servo. And your servo kit will typically come with a bunch of these parts here referred to as horns. And there are little teeth on the circles, and you can take the horn and just push the big piece right in there. And as this rotates, you can attach all sorts of things to this, like a piece of wire, piece of string, maybe a popsicle stick, in order to be able to move things like open up lids or move a robotic arm or that type of thing. So now that we know a little bit about servos and we've got one connected to our CPB, we can go ahead and plug in our CPB and then work on our code.
Now, very important, before we work with servo code, we've got to make sure that we import the Adafruit_motor library and that's inside the lib folder that's on our CircuitPy volume. That's the folder inside of CPB that's got all of our libraries in it. And just a quick note to show you how you can check that. If you plug in your CPB to your computer, you should be able to see a CircuitPy volume there. If you click on it, you'll see your lib folder if everything is installed properly. And if you double click on lib, you should be able to scroll down and see the Adafruit_motor library. If not, go to the webpage that I'd referred to and make sure that you download and then drag over the Adafruit_motor folder into your lib folder on your CPB. If you double click on that, you'll see these files in here. But again, if you just drag it over, all these things will get there from the good folks at Adafruit. Now, with that set up, if you've been following along with our code, I have here the code that we had used previously in the Orange Chaser example in the previous video. You've got a lot of libraries that have already been imported here. So what I'm going to do is just import pulse.io, and I'm also going to say from Adafruit_motor import servo. So this only imports the servo portions of the Adafruit library. It just saves us a little bit more memory on our device. Now, in the same way that we created objects like pixel, strip, or accelerometer for other sensors or devices that we were working with on our board, we need to create an object for our servo. So we'll call this servo my servo, and we'll use these 2 setup lines. So let's switch over to Moo. I'll do a quick comment, # create a PWM out object with pad A1. And I'll say PWM equals pulse.io.pwm, those are all capital OUT, open board.a1, comma, duty_cycle, all lowercase, equals 2, ** 15, comma, frequency equals 50. And again, the specifics of this, don't worry about it. As long as you set this up, you're going to be good to go to use a servo. And then what we'll do down here is we'll say, create a servo object named my_servo, and we'll just say my_servo, which creates a variable, and we'll initialize this to servo.capital SERVO and then open, and it's PWM, which is this PWM variable that I set up right here. So now that we've got this set up, we've got something called my servo. Oh, one more thing to point out as well. So again, you can see that we have clipped, at least in my example, I've clipped my servo signal wire to board A1. Now what that means is I can't use the A1 pad for anything else. So in our examples here, something that might be a useful thing to do is I'm going to do Command F, or it's Control F on Windows, and I'm just going to type in A1 to see if there's any other place in my code where I refer to A1, and sure enough, I did this when I was referring to my light strip. So I am going to bulk comment out these lines right here. So quote, 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 that's double quotes, and then double quote, double quote, double quote. And what this does is it'll make sure these lines don't execute, because if they did execute, I would get an error that says, hey, pin A1 is already in use. It's totally fine to plug it into one of the other pins labeled A1 through A7 if you want to have both lights and servos in the same project. Just make sure that you're not using the same pin for two different functions. And then I'll do a Command F again, or Control F in Windows, and I'll go through, see my pads I'm referring to down here as well as for board A1. So what I'm going to do is I'm also going to do a triple quote here for my touchpad quote code and make sure that I've blocked this out. Your code may have armed outside of the loop that I've placed right here. And let's see if do I have A1 anyplace else in here. So I've got it here right from the beginning, and that's it. So it's looking good. Everything else is commented out where I'm referring to A1. So I just make sure that I prevented any problems that I might have when I set up my server code. So now, in order to move the servo to a particular angle, you just say myservo.angle, there's an angle property, and just give it a number from 0 to 180. So here's a quick challenge problem. When you go ahead and set up your while true loop so that you've got responses for if button A and button B are pressed simultaneously, rotate to 180 degrees. If just button A is pressed, then rotate to 0 degrees. If button B alone is pressed, then rotate to 90 degrees. Now here's a hint. I typically open the serial monitor when I run code to make sure that I don't have any errors when I click on save. So that's always a smart thing to do. I'm also going to put in a little print statement to make sure that I've pressed the buttons properly, and so I'm just going to say print 180 degrees, print 0 degrees, print 90 degrees before each of these three portions of my condition. Now also down here, what I suggest that you do is pause for a short time after you've evaluated all three conditions here. About 1/10 of a second should work fine, and that's just going to prevent any of the button presses running into each other. And the biggest problem you would have if you didn't do this is if you held down button A and B at the same time, then you're likely to lift one finger off just a small bit of time before the other finger, and that will immediately move to another location too, and your code will look like it's not working properly when it really is. So the pause can be your friend here. But I'm going to pause the video right here, and you can pause the video right here, and then come back and I'll show you how to solve the problem. And we're back. So I'm going to scroll down to the code. I'm going to get rid of all of the code that I had previously in here. This was my orange chaser example from the prior video. And I'm going to set up my triple condition to check for button presses. So those button presses are if button underscore A dot value and button underscore B dot value colon. So remember, what this is going to do is it's going to check to see if both of them are being pressed at the same time. And then I want to say something inside here. Right now I'll just say print, well, I'll do all of it. I'll say print 180, and then right underneath, it's just so easy to set the angle. What you do is my underscore servo, which is the name of our servo, dot angle for our angle property, and we'll say this equals 180. Then I'll go back here and I'll say elif button underscore A dot value. That means if just button A alone is being pressed, then I'm going to say print 0, and I'm going to say my underscore servo dot angle equals 0. Then I'll do my last elif here, button underscore B dot value colon, and I'll say print, and this will be the 90 degree condition here, and I'll say my underscore servo dot angle equals 90. Now remember, after we've evaluated all three of these conditions, in order to get to make sure that we aren't lingering when we have the double touch, I'm just going to say time.sleep, and 0.1 should be a good sleep time in there, usually in 1/10 of a second. I've taken my finger off both button A and button B if they were both on there simultaneously. Now with this said, I'm going to click on the serial monitor to expose this, and this will tell me if there are any errors in my code. So I'm going to click on save here with the serial monitor open, and oh, it immediately says that I've got an error in here. This tells tells me, hey, there's an error in line 16, and I called it Poo's IO instead of Pulse IO. So I'm just going to go up to line 16, tells me right where that error is, and it should have been Pulse IO. Perhaps you saw this when I was typing in my code and you don't have this error here. But I kept that error in the video to show you how to identify an error and how to fix it, and that the serial monitor is your friend. Now I'm going to click on save again. Do I see any errors in here? No, my code looks pristine. So I'm going to go over to my servo.
Now, always make sure that your servo connections are proper. So I've got my 3 connections still to my CPB. I've got my 3 wires here. It's really easy for these to be jostled and get disconnected. And if you do, things won't work out and you won't get a clear message as to why. But now that I've got this set up, okay, so here's my servo. And now I'm going to click on A. And there we go, back to the 0 position. I'll click on B. And it's not quite 90 degrees. So one of the things you can do in your code is you can increase that if you need 90 to maybe 92 or 93. I'm going to press both of them. And whoops, both of them. And this is supposed to be the 180 position, but you can see I'm actually quite a bit off. Now, unfortunately, you can't go past 180. There are ways to adjust your servos. It's a little bit more challenging in order to do that. So for now, we'll just leave this tutorial at this stage. But let's imagine I want to go and at least get my 90 degrees better.
After tinkering with this for a bit, it looks like 105 gets me closer to what I really want as a 90-degree angle. And so if I wanted to get 90 degrees, one thing I could do is adjust this to 105 degrees. That's fine as long as you don't go over the 180 limit. Well, hopefully this intro to servos was useful for you. Keep at it.